Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Galactic Historian Office Hours. Let's get to the office, shall we? There we go. Took for that to happen. Welcome, guys. Welcome. My name is Paul, Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropub and your professor for Galactic Historian. How's everyone doing? You might hear some stuff in the background. We had some friends over who are still hanging out with the family and such like that, so. Fat Docs, G-Sharp, Brian, Ghost, A Corpse, welcome. Welcome, guys. How's everyone doing today? Again, if this is your first time watching an Office Hours, these are live streams. So these are live stream comment where you can come in, kind of hang out, talk a little bit. Yeah, let me do some. Oop. My bad. Whoopsie. Ledger, G-Sharp, thanks for the retweets and the favorites. Working from home now feels weird. It does, I'm sure. What feels weird is that I don't know if I'm going to be going back to work in a week. Right now it's my spring break. My day job is a teacher. So we were on spring break this week. I don't know if we're going back next week or at all. So. So, I do kind of want to look over the latest lore post to kind of talk about that a little bit. So, for those of you guys who don't know, the latest lore post is essentially a call to dissolve the UEE. One of the candidates for Imperator, Antoine Lillard, is a child of Chiron, the Chiron Civil War, and believes that the UEE is corrupt and needs to be destroyed. And so he's running for Imperator so he can destroy the Empire. Cam, aren't you supposed to be drinking? Oh, I said it's PewDiePie. It's PewDiePie! I didn't see that, Cam. Keep drinking, Cam. Happy Stellar Fortuna to you too. Yeah, it is Stellar Fortuna, guys. So if you guys don't know it's Stellar Fortuna.
I am drinking, sir.
Drink more. That's my wife. But yeah, Stellar Fortuna is a holiday in the UEE in Star Citizen, which is specifically supposed to be for hey Blueberry, how you doing? For exploration. So it's essentially like the exploration day. Stellar for exploration day. Yes, Darsh, that's exactly what happened. Thank you for recapping that. Yeah, G-Sharp, I don't know if that's going to happen here. All of the local schools have done that already, but... The whole city of New Boston is Boston is drunk. New Boston, yeah. Taco Doctor, thanks for the retweet. Hey, Drew. So if you guys have any questions about lore, anything you want to discuss, or even just topics about Star Citizen, let me know. Hello, Bob from Idaho. How's it going there, Bob? Oh. Oh. Is Star Citizen's goal to have a procedural galaxy similar to Elite, or will have a few handcrafted systems? A little bit of both. So the systems themselves are generated, but each system has its own lore, its own detailed background, stuff that's going on in the background of the world. So they essentially what they do is they have a system set up to build planets and then populate them with various tools to populate them with various fauna and flora. I mean, not fauna yet, but flora. And then each will have their own kind of mission givers. They'll have their own factions, but those aren't going to be procedurally generated. Those will be handcrafted. So it's a little mixture of both, but the idea is to focus more on the micro scale than it is the macro scale. So unlike Elite, which has, literally billions of systems, Star Citizen's going to have something like 100 systems. That's their goal. Probably less at launch, and then release more as they go. Hey, Mr. Deadpool. Makes me want medical disease gameplay. They've talked about that, honestly. That Star Citizen will have. We talked about in the last Captain's Table too, is that they'll probably have some sort of diseases. Diseases are a staple of like tabletop RPGs and tabletop gaming games. So I could definitely see them implementing them similar to that. Hey, Sylvian. I don't know if Elite's more arcade-oriented. It's just more old-school space sim. What medium should we put Star Citizen on so the next civilization can finish since we're all gonna die? Stone tablets. I have a feeling that they're watching me out there in the room. I don't know. That rush to buy, so we'll have no toilet paper. Yeah. Microfiche, yes. Really, really big tapes. Any news on Taurus? Everything from most since they removed it from the roadmap. Nope, nothing yet. I'm imagining that the Taurus has probably been removed because they're working on the new physics system that allows them to kind of like separate physics grids a little bit better while keep them as part of the same container. This allows for things like docking between two ships. That allows the docking ships to station. Allows for like external cargo holds to be put onto like ships. And I'm imagining that the Taurus is probably going to have a little bit of redesign because it needs to have a lot of space for carrying all that cargo. Yeah, I don't think they're going to redesign the entire constellation. They would have already been talking about it. No, 11, probably not. I've played Elite a lot, but Elite's that's rumor. I don't think I would honestly think that Elite Dangerous would probably be more likely to create a brand new game with space legs at the basis of it than they would be to just build it, to just add it, to hack it into the game. The problem is scale. The scale's off for most of the game, and the major issue is would also be AI. They'd have to develop their own AI systems because like just being able to walk around a ship, you'd also have to develop brand new systems to control the ship via each of the panels inside the ship. You'd also have to develop AI for like FPS combat. I mean, a good example of like what you'd probably encounter most likely is the X series, where you'd be able to walk around, but you'd be able to walk into a trade console, you know. But the X series is built with that in mind. It's built with that in context. So, and I'm a fan of Elite, and I'd like for them to do that, but I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. Or it needs to have a quickie in area spots like Vegas. It does. Is there TP in the year 2950? No, they use the three seashells. The 3 seashells. Actually, there is actually toilet paper inside bathrooms in Star Citizen. They're never going to fix the problem. The problem about fixing the ships that are already in the game right now is that puts a little bit more. It's going to take them more time to do so. The ships that are the newer ships are going to be the better ships overall because they're designed with Star Citizen in mind. Whereas ships like the Freelancer, the Cutlass, the Constellation, the Aurora, those ships were designed before they really had an idea of what Star Citizen was. They had an idea, but they didn't have they didn't really know how the game would function physically. So they've had to essentially redesign them several times. The Hornet's been redesigned like 4 times. And that's because it's part of Squadron 42. The Connie probably isn't going to get touched for a while. It's already been through 3 redesigns, 2 or 3. I don't think we're going to see the Ares release with the Idris mission, because the Ares is, they would have talked about it already. CIG is very good about that. The Freelancer Max has got so much room in the back, just a turret, just the only thing that prevents it from carrying vehicles. I think they're going to redesign how the turret works, because it's the similar way to how the Vanguard turret is also getting reworked. I honestly don't think we'll see a Mantis inspired Connie until probably after the game's released, or at least in beta. The only place you can find toilet paper is in Star Citizen. Digital toilet paper. But yeah, no, Legend. I don't think we're going to see Connie's rework. Not because it functions the way it's supposed to, and it doesn't need a rework. The only way it'll get a rework is if people just start abandoning it. If people start actually melting it for something that's in the similar size. I haven't done any more pistol duels at Korea, or no. Not in roleplay fashion. Thank you, Nighthawk, for that retweet. Tacodactyl. Oop, I keep doing that. TP to clean our bums. We're all the bidets, exactly. That's a good question. There's no pics of UEE flags. I think there is actually one. Let me pull up the video. Let me pull this up here so you guys can see it. This is an older video.
One year ago, our lives were shattered. But we have not forgotten. United in the face of the Vandal threat, we have dedicated ourselves to
Right there.
creating the universe we have always wanted. A safe and secure UEE for all.
By the way, it's the Militia Mobilization Initiative video. Halo Reach looks great, yeah. Yeah, the player's one, yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, the Militia Mobilization Initiative is actually a lore thing. It's a thing in lore that allows, it not only does it give for like players access to military grade ships, but it gives, excuse me. It allows for I'm trying to remember what it is. Just allows people to do stuff. Oh yeah, it allows for frontier militias to buy stuff. You live in a city called Stanton? It's probably named after that. Sleepy? Yeah, I haven't been sleeping right. Not this last week. .404. Brain not found. Fix this up real quick. Hey, Kennedy. I want to hear there to be an epidemic in Stanton to explain why we're stuck there. Well, they're probably not going to explain why you're stuck there until a little bit later. My guess is once they've finished the Stanton system in terms of like the actual like physical areas that are supposed to be there, the landing zones, the moons, that kind of stuff, they'll remove Nyx. And once they remove Nyx, they'll start telling stories. And then they may have an excuse as to like why the jump points are down or whatever. Hey, Alanon. Goes good there, Q-Pan. How you doing, man? I don't think it'll change much for the Javelin to be stripped. I don't think they're gonna like add the Javelin not stripped. It wouldn't make sense in the lore as well as in the gameplay, because in the lore the UEE doesn't want really ridiculously armed civilians. They want them to be armed enough to take care of potential local threats. They don't want them to be so armed that they can take care of a military threat. Nyx, yes, it meant Delamar. No, they'll move Delamar to the Nyx system. Well, it's because there's no way to land larger ships on Levski yet. Not Levski, Grimhex yet. But you'll notice that there are now working elevators, or there are elevators that are set aside on Grimhex specifically to let you go down to a hangar. So then they added that in the last patch in 3.8. So that tells me that they're probably going to be allowing for larger ships into Grimhex to replace the need for Levski. Yeah. What do you think will be added in 3.9.1? Probably nothing big. I mean, there's nothing really that's being moved around for 3.9 from 3.9 to like 4.0, or like I think the most they'll do is stabilization. Probably maybe some more missions, or kind of smooth out some of the missions they already have. Exactly, yeah. In lore, the UE doesn't want a true armed rebellion because they're damn close. So it's a revolution. Well, the problem they have is there are very viable like societies that live outside of the UE protection that are human. Levski being one, Spider being another. Now a lot of them are also cutthroats and really fucked up, but they're still around. See you, Kenny. I like Levski. It reminds me of Mos Eisley. Yeah. Wait until it gets a little bit more fleshed out, too. Well, I mean, it's more... Twitch is more built around streaming than YouTube is. But I like to do this on YouTube because it categorizes it, catalogs it properly, and yeah, it gives something for people to watch if they want to kind of hang out and get some lore fixes. No problem, man. We're listening to Utho Riley, ! Utho in chat, if you guys want to grab that. It's he's a independent musician, composer, who does a lot of fan work for Star Citizen stuff. He's very inspired by Star Citizen, but he does his own things too. Thank you, Mr. Malaka. Uther does make good music. Hey, Diablos. Nice. Nice. Change this real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to messing around with some stuff in the background. This week, for those of you guys who don't know, this week I'm going to be working on the Galactic Historian, my first ever real documentary. It's on the Jumptown Wars. I've done videos before, but this will be the first one that's like a documentary length. I got all the audio from from the narrator, and I'm spending this week to kind of take some time to work on it during the day. I just need to get some sleep. Is there a concept where we could own these very large military ships, but we are under contract? It's like own but under contract. Yeah, I mean that's the F-7A is flyable for military and civilian, but it's a military craft. Like you can only they've even talked about how in lore the only way you'll be able to access the F-7A is if you have good relations with the military, which means you finished Squadron 42. That'll give you the clout to be able to do that. We're doing questions. It's you probably haven't seen these before, Diablos. Hello, unfocused. Focus. There we go. This is we're doing questions. If you guys want to ask questions about lore, about Star Citizen, feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer you guys. That's what I just said. The F8 Lightning, but there could be a situation where you could buy surplus military capital ships with the right contracts. Hey, the prisoner. The F8? Yes. So, in lore, Squadron 42 takes place in the same universe as the PU. They're in the same universe. The only difference is that Squadron 42 is going to take place before the current time in the universe. It's kind of like a prequel. They're built on the same engines and everything like that. They're just not the same games. Well, they're the same game, but it's complicated. They essentially are building Squadron 42 using Star Citizen's framework. So Squadron 42 and Star Citizen are essentially at the same level. Potentially, you don't have to play Squadron 42 because they're two separate SKUs. They're two separate games. In the sense of purchasing, you don't have to play Squadron 42 to get in Star Citizen, but if you do, there'll be benefits to being Star Citizen. Think of if you played the BioWare games, you played in Mass Effect, you could unlock, or Dragon Age, you could unlock armors from each of the other, inspired by each of the other universes in their own games. I remember getting a Dragon Age armor in Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect 2 because I had Dragon Age 1. Something like that, but more detailed because they're literally in the same universe. You're losing, Cam? Cam is my wife. She's currently playing Cards Against Humanity outside the office with some friends. A little tipsy. Just a little tipsy. Yeah, essentially. You might get some money, some extra money starting in Star Citizen if you played Squadron 42. You might get extra rep, that kind of thing. Oh, it's a game you win. It's a game you win. Everyone wins and everyone loses. There's not a ton of it, other than the fact that it's less than lethal. The entire line is less than lethal. Citizen after he's played Squadron 42, and yes. Yeah, you'll have certain contacts from playing in Squadron 42. You'll have access, better reputation, that kind of thing. It's essentially encouraging you to play Squadron. And since Squadron's going to be out before Star Citizen's released, So service guarantees citizenship? Yes. You also get a rank and a diary as well as some other things in Hangar Flare, supposedly. Yeah, the diary will explain, like, in written form of what you did in Squadron, the choices you made. Yeah, it's more based on the the Roman beliefs of like if you want to have power, you have to be serve in the military. But that was never commiserate the same way. But it's definitely influenced by Heinlein's work. I'm doing my part. Are they planning? They're still planning having CitizenCon. We have no idea. They haven't said anything about it. I'd be sad if they didn't, but I'd understand. Oh, there's no robots in Star Citizen. There are no robots in Star Citizen, and the reason why is because beyond very basic robots, they don't want artificial intelligence because artificial intelligence hasn't worked right. Every time they've done some kind of AI test, it's always gone tits up and killed people. So they've just basically backed away from AI because of how dangerous it's become. Do women and men have the same roles in the military? Yes, in Squadron 42 or in Star Citizen. That is true. Yeah, a Retaliator Squadron almost started a war with the Xi'an. Also the Artemis, also Mars. The original Mars project had an AI at its core, and it caused the collapse of the atmosphere. So that was where it started, was the Mars project. So the AI doesn't work in the lore or in the game? Boom-ch. They had an AI in that ship, yeah. It's not that they can't do AI, it's that they haven't made an AI that isn't going to fuck up. I've just started playing Star Citizen a few days ago. Is there a way to mark your cave missions? No. To mark your own cave missions? No. You have to get those missions separately. You get the locator missions. And no, you still will have to fly hundreds of... The only way you can not fly hundreds of kilometers to land is if you have a location on the ground that you're going to that has a marker on it, you can quantum to it. Just like you quantum between planets or moons. I'd have to look that up, about automating whole C's and D's and E's. But that does sound like a terrible idea. The real reason why, in lore, the reason why they have the ban on AI is because Chris wanted to have a universe where players are interacting and you don't have robots doing everything. But yeah, then the men and women do the same roles in the military. You have one of your XO in the Stanton is a woman, the captain is a man, but the captain of your first command in Squadron 42 is a woman. And the daughter of Admiral what's his name? Admiral Bishop. Captain Bishop. Yep. Do I think Vulkan integration will come at or before server meshing? Probably around the same time. Admirable Bishop. Yeah, that's true. The prisoner, though, learning to land is a little harder because there is free fly. You can kind of land on platforms, but moons and planets are a little different because they're not as flat. Is there any lore about the Gilliam? Not really that I know of. No, it could be quantum. There is a quantum like material that you can harvest, quantum fuel, which allows you to harvest and then sell, because certain elements have higher ranks of quantum fuel. What's the next ship sale going to be after? Any idea of the date? No idea of the date, but it's probably going to be something with Origin, and personally, I think it's going to be the Origin 400 series, and probably have to do with exploration, because that was the last thing they hinted at in lore, was that Origin, New Austin, is the town, that city that Origin's in. New Austin had a bunch of, at around Origin's headquarters, there was a bunch of people from the ISC, interstellar cartographers, stellar cartographers, coming and going from there. So it's probably something to do with exploration. Yeah, the 400i. Because we already have the 100, we have the 300, we have the 600 and the 800. So we have a tiny, the 100. We've got a small medium, which is the 300. We have a large, which is the 600, and we have a capital with the 890. So they're missing that medium to large bracket, the freelancer, star runner, that kind of size. $100 is not in game, but it was sold. Yeah, I believe there probably are friendly. Well, friendly. Remember, the Vanduul are very hostile in terms of species, just because they like combat. I think there's definitely Vanduul you could probably encounter who won't want to murder your face in, because they haven't had any encounters with humans. And as long as you're not like trying to threaten them or take their territory, they may be open to trade, because we know that the Banu have some decent trading relationships with some of the Vanduul clans. You think if it's the 400 series, it will be concept or straight to flyable? Likely straight to flyable. Yes, there was some data mining, and someone found that the voices at Port Olisar were about a threat from Xenothreat, which is the group that actually controls Pyro, Ruin Station. They're the people who control the entire system. And there were other files that proved that they were going to be attacking Stanton. Now those files have disappeared from the game since, and there's no 100%. We don't have a 100% idea of if that has been canceled or if that's coming back in. Banu are selling us out, man. The Banu sell everybody out, including themselves. Nothing further in game yet. No. Do you think they will ever do an in-game Rise of Tavaran type event? Oh yeah, 100%. Something that will return the race to a power and prominence. Likely, but it's probably going to be up to the players to determine how much prominence and power they get, and if they do get it all. No problem, Cam. But yeah, Carson, you have to remember that Star Citizen, like a lot of the lore in Star Citizen, is based around players interacting with each other. No, humans have air shield technology. We have air shields on the capital ships, but the Tavaran were the ones who invented it. No, that Imperator candidate's not going to win. Because that would be stupid to dissolve the Empire before the game even started. Though he's probably going to be a figure that kind of belief is probably going to linger around. You'll probably see it in-game within storytelling for a while. Yeah, the Tavaran had good shield tech, but they also had really good stealth tech. Yeah. The hangars on the stations all have the air shields. No, they're probably not going to have personal shields. Not like Halo shields. The most we'll know they have is some like throwable shields, like the shield blockers. The Tavarns are in the UE. What do you think about the Tavarn making a bid for power politically? Isn't there a Tavarn senator who is really gaining popularity? He's popular in his own system. Suj Kosi, who is the senator from Elysium, which is the home world of the Tavarn. He's one of, I think, 2. The other one is human. No, when I'm talking about Halo shields, I'm talking about like the shields that where they cover your whole body, and then they get knocked down, and you have armor or health, whatever. Not like that. Throwable shields is more like, the deployable shields would be more like, think a futuristic version of Rainbow Six. You know, I know they have like deployable like metal like barricades, stuff like that. Yeah, Suj Kosi. Is there a state-sponsored delivery service like our postal service? I don't know. No, I don't think there is. I think the closest you're going to have is Kovalex. That's it's a private industry. Well, we're going to get a lot of freedom to expand the lore. Everything that CIG writes is focused mostly on allowing players to influence the events that go on in-game. And so pretty much like if you see something that's like, oh, is something going to happen? The answer is probably, and players are probably going to have a huge impact on it because that's why they write them. Do you know anything about the current 29? Yes, the second wave of voting has been done. There is one candidate from the, I've written and not recorded yet, but I've written a, Galactic historian report, which is my not a lot of visuals, mostly just kind of audio, but you know, that kind of thing. I gotta finish that this week and put it up there while I'm working on the Jumptown stuff. Will player interaction be transcribed? Not detailed, not like detailed interaction, but overall action probably. Can we vote? Possibly. People voted for the Suj Kosi election, but we don't know if you can vote necessarily. Exactly. They're making a foundation. They're making a foundation with a lot of ends. Think of it as like a road that's like they've got a central core of the story of the world that you live in, and then there are certain roads that diverge out from that road, from that core, and those roads are not finished yet. They're left intentionally unfinished so that players can go down those roads and build them out in whichever direction they feel needs to happen. Hey, Pro, how you doing, buddy? Only citizens can vote, but players have voted in the past. They've said that they'll probably allow players to vote for the Imperator election, for the last one, but they're going to mostly have their own say in things. Like, they're going to kind of choose what's happening. For every for every one of those roads that's not finished, CIG has built a road and not told anybody yet. But most of the stuff that's going to involve the big stuff, like alien-human relations, interhuman, like warfare, civil war, that kind of stuff, that's all been kind of, it's left vague as to what's going to happen because they want players to explore that. Hey, Zarin. Yeah, essentially, choose your own adventures right as you go. How much, much of the Star Citizen languages who do I know? None. There's people who know them, I don't. I'm terrible at languages. Me hablo un poco español, pero no mucho español y inglés. Those are the only two languages I really know. And that's because I grew up with them. I grew up with Spanish and English. Am I a citizen? Yes, probably. Citizens will get to vote, but votes will be weighed depending on the situation of the Empire, requiring larger margins. or less likely options. Yeah, you got to remember that everything in Star Citizen is that players will have an influence of the universe, but at the end, CIG will always have the lion's share of the decision making, because it's going to be a 9-to-1 ratio from NPCs to players, and I think they're taking that to heart within the lore as well, so that the players represent a small portion of the larger population, a significant portion. 10% of the population is still a large part of the population, and possibly even mostly just the citizen population is players rather than NPCs. That's still a small portion comparatively. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick bio break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I have no idea what they did. See, this is the reason why you don't leave the door open. I have no idea what she was doing, so let me back up the live stream a little bit. Whatever happened, you didn't drink enough. Yeah. Thank you, Cupan. Random girl in the back screaming and laughing. Yes, that was the girl who walked in and you saw that. They're having a good time drinking. No, that's a neighbor of mine. All right. Any other questions, guys? on, I'm gonna fuck with them because I can do this. And it's a delay, so they don't realize it yet. Where's the Polaris? No idea. Have they started a rotation for rates for specific planets? They haven't stated them yet, no. How many systems by the end of this year? Probably 2, at most. What are you looking to try the most in 3.9? Prisons. Well, I'm looking for like a lot of the mission systems. I'm looking for that kind of stuff. I feel like they could easily push the 109 X1, but why? I don't know why they haven't decided to do that. Those seem like easy wins. Maybe because the ship team is focused on other things. So that you know, yeah, we don't know exactly how long days are going to be on the planet. So you got to remember that there is a time dilation for Star Citizen. Probably. They're definitely going to have radiation effects. I don't know about ionizing radiation. In the bar. That's true. Half-naked Sandy. Yeah. Not including Squadron 42 systems? Well, I mean, I don't think Squadron 42 is coming out this time, anytime soon. Do you think players will ever be able to play as an alien race? Probably after release. No VerseCon this year, right? Not that I know of, especially not if it's in the United States. Generally, they don't do that. Have they stated at all how long Squadron 42 gameplay will actually be? At one point, they said 40 hours, 20 to 40 hours. That was a while ago, though. It was like 20 hours of gameplay for if you just did the main story missions, but up to 40 hours if you did all the extended missions as well. But that was, again, 4 years ago. It may have increased or decreased since then. It could be up to 60 hours. The last I heard was from Aaron Roberts, an interview that Aaron Roberts gave like 2015, 2016. Are they actually making all 3 at once or one at a time? One at a time. They have all of the stories written out for all of them. Oh, I have no idea if my school... Let me check real quick. Oh. So April 3rd. Hold on. Let me go out and yell at them real quick. I'll be right back. I just found out that I have until April 3rd.
you, Paul.
Andrew, go in there. Go in there, Andrew.
Go run, Andrew.
God. See, this... Yes, I locked it. Sorry about that, guys. Fuck you, Paul. Yeah. Sorry about that. I found out that my school doesn't come back until April 2nd, so. April 3rd. Still getting paid for it, though. Which is nice. I have to, sorry about that. Willimax said something like that. Will asked, do you reckon we'll see 3-9 this Friday? Yeah, probably. Either this probably this Friday or next week. I would say between the end of this week or next week. Teleschooling? No teleschooling. There's not enough connections in my district. The kids don't have enough reliable connections. They have 1-to-1, but they don't have enough reliable connections. Probably Wave 1, yeah. You'd probably see Wave 1 PTU. You think they'll wipe for this patch? Probably. I'm predicting a wipe for every major patch. So like between 3.9 and 4.0, 3.8 and 3.9, that kind of stuff. Telefragging, teleporting, teleschooling. That's messed up. You could save the wipe because TP is scarce. Yeah. The ironic part is that TP isn't scarce. Oh, no, I'm a teacher. But no homeschooling. Excuse me. They just closed school for about 2 weeks after spring break. So, to give that kind of, let the wave go through. Yes, I sneezed. You're all infected now. Chad is now infected. Well, I only serve Corona here at the pub. It is nice. Summer break is nice, but it's not nearly as long. Like, it's too long, I think. One of the biggest problems about summer break in my experience is that summer break goes on a little bit too long because it's like 3 months almost. Twist of Batwing. Quarantini is another one. There's another good one. Got infected with Shinerbach. To get a break. Vodka emergency and sour mix. You can quarantine something like that. I think it's It's that, or it's rum or gin with emergency sour mix, quarantini. Yeah, the reason why I say it's a little long is because if I just got like a month off, because a lot of people are like, oh, you get all these national holidays, plus you get summer break. It must be great to be a teacher. It's like, we don't get any breaks. I think we get 4 breaks throughout the year. Yeah, 4 or 5 full days off. Every time the kids have days off, we actually have to come in and work for either parent-teacher conference or some sort of training or something else like that. So most of our we get more out time off than most people do, but it's all clumped into that summer break. With persistence, what does the actual wipe for 39 means? I have no idea. It could mean money, and it could mean the actual LTP stuff as it gets wiped. It could not be. San Antonio lately. TP isn't scarce. It's just that people are panic buying for some stupid reason. I'm creating a controller configuration. That's pretty awesome. It's 6 degrees of freedom with all the keys mapped and no conflicts. Would you like to try it out and give me an assessment? Possibly. Yeah. Let me know, bro. Send it to me on in Discord. Working on an automated prison is a good job. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. How will the UEE react when the Santa system succeeds with a Bengal carrier? That's how they'll react. Do I think CIG will embrace the supernatural like they have in the Hades system, or is that a one-off? So the Hades system isn't supernatural necessarily. It's just seen as supernatural. It likely has to do with the mystery of the Hades system in the first place, like why the Hadesians blew themselves up. About 300 rolls of TP. The ironic part is that, like, I think Cam and I buy like 12 rolls for an entire month. And pictures of who? The Bengal carrier? That's the TAMSA system. It has a massive black hole. Hadesians. We don't have any pictures of Hadesians. We have a description, which is they have like a very round, bulbous body, with anywhere between 6 and 8 appendages that are kind of like little spindly like appendages, and then 2 arms. They have 2 like grasping arms. So it's like a big round main body with legs and then like 2 arms. Yeah, in fact, most people have confused the Dark Skies aliens with the Hadesians. The Blue Man is humanoid. Doesn't look like a Hadesian. We have no idea who it is or what it is. It could be something entirely different. It could be Hadesian. It could be some sort of after effect of the radiation from the Hadesians' weapons. We don't know. How do you memorize all this stuff in Star Citizen? I have a brain that's built for useless information. They look like spider crabs, kind of. What are the classifications, types of civilizations in Star Citizen? You're talking about like types of civilizations in terms of the Kardashev scale? Because Star Citizen civilizations don't quite fit into the Kardashev scale. They fit into most of the civilizations that we talk about are probably type 3 civilizations. Probably be the biggest one. Burgeoning on type 4. Because, like, we're a type 2. We might be a type 3. So it might be type 4. I can't remember which one is which. I think type 4 or 5 is, like, the Galactic. It's the stellar one, where they can harvest all their power from the sun. But we do know that there are... Most of the civilizations we know of are space-based, or interstellar. Though there are a couple of species who are sentient that don't have interstellar technology, but none of them have, like, villages. Like, most of them are in the Neolithic stage of development, you know, or Paleolithic. So yeah, there's type 2. Type 2 is what all of the civilizations in Star Citizen are. They're stellar. Yeah, we're not quite plant type 1 yet. We're close, though. Star Citizen is... the Star Citizen civilizations are type 2. Do you have a lore on how some of the energy weapons were first developed, like neutron weapons? No, we don't have quite yet. We do know who invented them and where they worked on them. Most of the laser weapons aren't actually lasers in the traditional sense, but they use lasers as a means of production of energy. They're actually something like particle weapons, essentially. Falling skies, not dark skies. Yeah. Do you think CIG will introduce super advanced race like Vorlon from BSB5? No, they don't really like that kind of pre-genitor race kind of idea. Was it just the Xeon that was afraid of the Kurthok? Yes. We don't know about the Vanduul. We don't have a lot of information about the Vanduul other than what we've been able to suss out from their technology, from what we've learned from the Banu, and from what we've learned through observation. There was lore about people seeing things in the fusing system. Yeah. There was lore about people seeing things fusing, so I could see them having effects. Yeah, like, even though it's not supernatural, it could be toxins. It could be, like, ambient radiation. It's fucking with people's brains. It could be some sort of, you know, hand-wavium stuff, like trans-dimensional shit. I don't know. Are you going to become a pro Animal Crossing streamer? Man, I can't live that hype. I can't live that Animal Crossing hype. So yeah, I said this story is basically the fall of Rome. That was the inspiration, yeah. Would be the Huns, yeah. Because the Vanduul are the ones who are being pushed in, and then the Kurthok would be the relator. But it doesn't seem like in reality, like one-to-one, how they've been developing them, the Xi'an are more like an amalgam of Eastern cultures. So a little bit of, you know, classical Chinese, like Han Chinese kind of, a little bit of Japanese in there, a little bit of Southeast Asian and Indian, kind of mixed together. Because it's not a one-to-one ratio, but it's kind of like the idea. They're more advanced than UEE. And the Banu are much very similar to the Bedouin or the Arabian tribes. And the Tavaran are the Carthaginians. The Greeks are the Carthaginians. In that kind of analogy. And they're just Space Ninja Turtles. Yes, I love pizza. I can't wait for every player to, once the Xi'an are in game, for every player to create an intergalactic or interstellar incident by just being like, here's some pizza, man. Eat the pizza. Carthago delenda est. I probably messed it up, and Cam's going to be in here about 2 seconds to scream at me because it said it wrong. The front picture of the Squadron 42 video that shows the floating cart. Yeah, no, they've already talked about they've showed off like the multi-tool for like moving big boxes. It's definitely something they want to do. The Xi'an are carrion leaders, yes. Good thing I locked the door then, yeah. Yes, North Africans, essentially. The Tavaran are very much a North African species. Like that's their the kind of the style that they're pulling from. Problem is she has a key. Yeah. Order carry-on pizza. It's carrion. They canceled the Star. Damn. Sorry, I'm already looking up some of this stuff for my personal stuff. I'm a teacher, my day job again. It's for those of you guys who don't know. And we have a standardized test that every student for specific classes need to take. It's called the acronym is STAR, STAAR. And they canceled that. The Texas State canceled it for the entire year. No, Zero to Hero is Thursday. Do I have a favorite ship? The Freelancer. All of them. Hey, guess who's excited for finally eating game? All that food I spam taking pics of. I'm excited for it about it too. How many systems do you think they'll have by the time they hit beta? Probably 5. Best case scenario, 5. What do I teach? I teach social studies. So anywhere between world geography, world history, U.S. history, U.S. government, economics, microeconomics, mostly macroeconomics, or it's a little bit of both. Sociology and psychology. Every year I have a different assignment, essentially. They try to keep me with one major thing. So like for my first 2 years at the school, I was teaching government economics, but I also taught psychology and world geography. I'm now teaching world history. So I would like one day to get a lore from the Kurthok side of things. Xi'an can be very well telling a story that made. In fact, there's a story about the UEE trying to send a explorer through Xi'an space to get to the Kurthok and was captured as a spy, and the Xi'an was basically like, we'll murder him. We'll expose you for trying to make a deal with the Kurthok. Are the Vandals supposed to be more like the Gauls or the Mongols? Not like the Mongols. They're more like the Vandals or the Goths. Did you hear about the Donkey Polo noblewoman from the Tomb article? No. It's easier than that, it seems, yeah. So they'd have 5 or so in beta. So they got as they got closer to launch, they'd be introducing new systems without telling the players. With their characters sitting on their butts most of the time, enjoying nothing but big bennies. Yeah, no, Darj is right. Every human, every player, every human in Star Citizen universe is genetically engineered. They've taken all the bad shit out of their DNA. Vandals are attacking from Hot Topic with spike collars and heavy mascara. Not that kind of goth. I got a freelancer when I was when I got the Aurora starter package. I love the freelancer too. I'm still trying to learn how to fly, but I end up on the nose of my ship a lot, rolling my ship to the planet side. Yeah, freelancer is she handles like a brick, but when you get a handle of how she handles, it's pretty better. They're good in my book. Oh, a Tang Dynasty Rumble Woman. Yeah, that makes sense. You keep looking at a camera like up here. So there's chat to my right, which is to my like 3 o'clock, whatever. And then there's a camera right here, and then yeah. So what I'm looking at chat. I should actually swap my camera view here. Hold on. So it actually looks better. Nope, that's not it. Immersion ruined. There you go. So now I'm looking at chat. Your answer is terrible, just my opinion. You have the opinion. You have the right to have a wrong opinion. That's for sure. Hey, Aimless. Upside down stream, I've done it before. If we're all genetically engineered, do you think we'll be able to have special abilities one day? Probably not. It's more like you're genetically engineered in the sense that you're not going to get cancer or anything like that in the Star Citizen universe. So like you can hand wave around a lot of the problems. Yes. I think that'll likely happen, but they'll have to introduce something like a citizen's like a residence card or something like that. You'll have to like set a residence for a place if you're a citizen. How do you think they'll handle system to system travel? Jump points. So jump points is how they handle system to system travel, where you go through an area. It's like a jump gate or something like that, or they call them jump points, but there's also gates that they build for easier access. They're like wormholes. They go from system to system. Hey Carson, again, you have a right to be wrong. It's okay. No Tavaran Dojo Judo? I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Though if it is, I think the honest answer is that going to be that it's going to be it's just going to replace the way you strike people. That's all. Hey, Fairing fans. Does Eve have, like, points? Yeah, they do. They have gates. So, yes, similar to Eve. Similar to the X series as well. If you know the X series. Same idea. I did get the last cheap Explorer pack. They'll probably do it so that I still think that the smallest that they'll be able to hold as a freelancer will be the smallest they can hold in there for the jump point. So that means anything freelancer, the size of a freelancer or smaller, will be able to fit into it because it's going to be a physical size. It's not just going to be, oh, you can go through this small jump point because you are in this radius, this kind of ratio. So like if you're in a bigger ship but you like it's like a little bit too wide, if you shave off the wings or whatever, you'll be able to fly through it, that kind of thing. CIG is all about that. If it fits, it sits kind of thing. How's the Jump Time Wars coming around? It's going great. I'm actually working on it this week, so it should be out by next week. Now that I have 3 weeks off of work, it'll definitely be out before the end of March. No, I don't think you'll need to know the languages. I think you'll definitely hear them speak in their own languages, though. So if you know their languages and you recognize what they're saying, you may be able to understand like if you're getting into a trap or not. Darj, I honestly don't think that you're going to be super active. I think it's going to be mostly on rails, but you'll still have to manage it. It's like riding rapids. You're not going to be able to control forward or backward movement. You're going to be pushed forward, but you have to maintain like dead on stick as you're going through it. Now, they've also said that well-traveled jump points will have essentially automated systems that will just, your system will just take over and you'll just fly through the jump point automatically. I don't know if that probably won't be in version 1.0 of the jump points, but Xi'an hoverboards. Nobody calls me chicken. Man, I wish. Go ahead and retweet the streams, guys. I forgot to pull the winner from this one. Let me pull the winner for these beers. If you guys are on my Twitch stream, I'm going to I'm giving away I do give away beers and that kind of stuff because at the end of the week on Twitch we give away a like a little prize, like something around $34. And this week we're doing the Archimedes, an LTI Archimedes, so a nice little LTI token if you guys want it. But you have to have beers, you have to be in Twitch, that kind of stuff. Exclamation point beers and at fat dots and then 20. Good job about that. Clear that out. Yes. And then points. Beer raffle. Let me double check my follow count since we've got any more. We've had we had a sub. Galactic, thanks so much for that sub 40 minutes ago. And Nighthawk, thanks for that sub. We've got 2 subs, so we'll go resubs. Boom. And then we got a follow. Boom. Boom. Hold on. Boom. Boom. There you go. You're supposed to be able to map a jump point and sell the map for other people that can use it and navigate it. But the jump point shifts so they have to be remapped periodically. Yes, those are called nav jumpers. Nav jumpers is what the term is in lore. Is people who chart unknown jump points. Very few of them exist. Scratch Twitch, people. Yeah, thank you, Catholic. I know Twitch isn't for everybody, but it's what I do on the side. It's what I do when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. And of course, for those of you who are watching this, if you enjoy tabletop RPGs, I do a tabletop RPG stream every Saturday. That stream is then put up onto YouTube under my second channel, The Spice Must Roll. So if you go youtube.com/The Spice Must Roll, all one word, you can get to what we do. We did first season, we did the Expanse RPG. Second season, we did Star Trek RPG, Star Trek Adventures RPG. We're not quite done with the Star Trek Adventures RPG. That's finishing up. Well, 1st of April. So, in like 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks. Will CIG introduce a translate function for on-screen chat for more Russian, Chinese, and English-speaking features have cooperative gameplay? I don't know. If they can, if there's some technology they can implement for that. Not just unknown ones, but updating info for existing jump points. Oh yeah, I know, but I mean, but nav jumpers are very rare. Most people are not nav jumpers. Nav jumpers was much more common in the early days of jump points, because nav jumpers were people who knew enough about jump points that they could fly them without any assistance. And then once the technology began to assist people, they became less needed for daily travel between, or like routine travel between jump points, between systems, and they started to become more dedicated towards exploration and maintenance. What's my opinion on Operation Pitchfork? I think it's fantastic for gameplay. I think it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck, but it's going to be amazing. An amazing clusterfuck that I'm going to be part of. Don't think you saw it, but there's But you're about to be off school for a lot longer than 2 weeks. Dallas should shut down schools indefinitely. Guaranteed it'll happen down there too. We'll see. It's a lot worse down there. What's my opinion of the Mantis and QED? Also, will that have an effect on travel between systems? Probably not between systems. I think QED is a good idea. I just wish it wasn't just Mantis. More ships should be able to have it, even as a burnable thing. Like, it's just a big thing you could put it in your cargo bay, and you can use it once. Exposition, trying to go there. Well, we'll see how Operation Pitchfork works. Unfortunately, no, Superior. He had to step away. He had some personal issues he had to deal with, so we're gonna have a new player next season for that, though. Season 2 of The Expanse is coming back in June. What is Operation Pitchfork? Operation Pitchfork was an idea that was come up with back in like 2013 by the community. The idea was essentially because there originally was going to be a wipe at beta, between beta and live, so they were going to say, hey, when Star Citizen reaches full beta, let's get a bunch of players together and see if we can't invade Vandal space and just conquer regions of space for humanity. Just the players, see how far they can go. And it started building and building and building, and so it's this plan that, even though there's no wipe, that at the end of beta, before Star Citizen goes officially live, that players are going to just push into Vandal space as one massive group, A, for stress testing servers, and B, to see if they can just effectively destroy and control all of the region. I agree, Misfit. QED should be illegal without a bounty hunter license or otherwise authorized use, and it is. You actually get a crime stat for using it if you're using it in monitored space. So Stanton is unique because Stanton is not owned by the UEE. So they still have a prison system, but it's all private prisons. So the idea is that it's automated to cut down on the cost of labor, like guards watching people, and being more remote. Oh, it's suicidal. That the Operation Pitchfork is going to either explode into terribleness or be awesome. And either way, I want to be part of it. Operation Pitchfork has a organization you can join. They also have a Discord. Yeah, get in on this beer raffle if you're on the Twitch chat. BDO, thank you so much for that. Everyone who's active, get some more beers. Just be here when the game goes live, yeah. What's the Discord link? I don't have it on me. Let me see if I can find it real quickly. Here you go. There's the Discord link. Carson, that should help you out. Whew. Yeah, I'd hope something like the QED, like the Cuddy Blue gets QED or something like that. No problem, Dano. EMP just needs to get nerfed. I like the idea that someone had of EMP only working when the shields are down. I like the other idea where it only works to drain shields. It doesn't knock everything out. So it'll do a certain number of like whatever neutron damage, whatever it is, the kind of damage that doesn't do damage to structures, but it does do, like, it'll knock out systems. So like an EMP will work to knock down shields, but it won't like knock out your entire ship. The problem is it's either way too OP or not OP enough. It's either garbage. So that would make sense too. If you buy military equipment, it doesn't get hurt by EMP, but civilian equipment will, or industrial equipment. Anything outside of like military and industrial is hardened against EMP, but the rest of them aren't. Distortion damage. Thank you. That's what it's called. What's my favorite part of lore, and what are you looking forward to the most? I like the Tavaran Wars. They're very interesting to read about. The first and second Tavaran War had a huge impact. Like, if you want to look for the heart of Star Citizen lore, like the thing where all of the conflicts that currently exist in the universe come from, it's the Tavaran Wars. First Tavaran War, the second Tavaran War, both kind of spell out what the universe is today and why it is. What I'm looking forward to most is the return of the Tavaran, because no one's expecting it. I'm also just looking forward to like more story, man. Like more like factions going at each other, that kind of stuff. So again, if you guys have any specific questions about lore, the game, I'm here to answer. I'm out of water. Would you pick other races besides human if you could? No. But I understand why people would. Honestly, I think if CIG was to do it, I would like them to do Tavaran. So Tavaran, because they're part of the UEE, they're the easiest to make in terms of, like, they're about the same size as humans. Just make Tavaran a playable race, so you have Tavarans and humans. You have the UEE still overall. And then I'd make the Xi'an, the Banu and the Xi'an at the same time, not Vanduul. Because you want to have some bad guys still. So you have the Banu being a playable race before or around the same time as the Xi'an, just because you'd have to create a whole new structure for them. They're also kind of dicks. Did you read today's lore piece? Yep. That system is still at war. How long has it been at war? How long do you think it will be continue to be at war? The Chiron Civil War has been going on for almost 100 years. Well, over 100 years. It's been happening since the fall of the Mezzers. Like, just after the fall of the Mezzers, the Chiron system broke from the UEE, and the two major nations on the Chiron are going at it. They definitely deserve a redemptive story, but it has to come out as a redemptive story rather than just being something else. Thank you, Bob, for that retweet. Aimless. We're at 6 retweets. If we get to 10 retweets, I'll give you guys all 10 more beers. Ethan Zapp, how you doing, buddy? I remember who said it, that like Dallas is shut down and that we might be shut down for the rest of the earth, like for a long time here in Austin. And honestly, I think if my school ended up doing that, it would probably just go remote, making sure that every student has some sort of access to the internet, because we already are one-to-one like laptops. Question 4C: how soon do you think it'll be before the factions become a bigger issue within the game? Sooner than you think. I think it's going to happen this year. I think the Xeno threat will become an issue sometime before Pyro is introduced. I think the fallout from a Xeno threat invasion of Stanton will be pretty extensive. You'll probably have more active UEE presence in Stanton, which means that criminals will be pushed out of the Stanton system. I think you'll likely have the Nine Tails and the Nova Riders and the other kind of criminal syndicates start to feel the pinch a little bit more because of the lashback. I also think that the probably inevitable failure of the invasion by Xenothreat into the Stanton system will cause them to lose their power in Pyro. So, which will then allow for players to influence which faction is going to be the king of Pyro. To replace the Xenothreat system. I think that's going to be the first major one, because it's a nice isolated way of dealing with the problem. Like you say, okay, well, there's these people coming in from the other system that no one's going to access yet, so it's gated off. And then once you gave access to that system again, now you could go see the aftermath of all of that, the fallout of the failed invasion. That kind of story, and then kind of telling that story from there. you know. Do I have lore for my own character? Which one? I have two. My main character is just me, but he's from the Magnus system, served in the UE in the Navy as a pilot, opened up a bar, or is trying to open up a bar, or is opening up a bar. It's totally not running drugs. Has kind of a relationship with the UE. Understands its importance, but also understands the shitty, fucked up shit that happens. So he's kind of on the gray edge. Juan Montoya Valdez. He is not a citizen. He simply just wishes to make money as best as he can. He does not ask questions. Hey, Fidret, how you doing? I was wondering if post-corona world will be affected by the tone of the game. People's ideas about the norms are about to change. Oh yeah, for sure. The Pantsless and Pyro? Kinda. Yeah, so far, San Antonio so far doesn't care. Well, I think, Carson, you got to remember that, like, Austin and San Antonio are very different from Dallas. Dallas is a much bigger city than Austin is, and the county has a lot. Dallas is probably the biggest outside of Seattle. I would venture to guess they have the highest number of confirmed cases. And the only reason why San Antonio has high numbers of cases is because a lot of people are being shipped to San Antonio who have it for treatment, or at least early on. So, idea cash. So, it's a little different kind of mentality. You gotta buy a laptop tomorrow? Awesome. But yeah, see, I think you're likely going to start seeing, and I kind of spelled that out in a Galactic Historian report about like how the story of Star Citizen is going to begin this year, because they're going to be contained and it'll slowly build out as they go. I want to be able to set a air race in Microtech with a 100-meter AGL ship disabling ceiling. No idea, Tyre. No idea about that. Like something that will disable. I mean, you could definitely set up an air race. The question is what do you use for checkpoints? And there will be nothing that'll disable you. That they may be able to set like a disqualifying, but I don't know if it'd be harder to enforce. What happens to Port Olisar and lore? We don't know. I mean, Port Olisar is actually the major trade hub for Orison. So all of the stuff that's going to Orison goes to Port Olisar first, including the people, and then they get shuttled down to Orison. And that's the case with Port Tresler. All of the space stations that orbit around the landing zones in Star Citizen are specifically designed as way stations to kind of take in most of the traffic that's coming into the planet, and then having secondary traffic that'll kind of shuttle down back and forth. So people don't have to fly all the way down there all the time. They can kind of park it up there, drop their cargo off, especially for the large things like the Hull E's and the Hull D's, which can't land. They need a place to disgorge to take out their cargo. I'd love to see the Xeno threat invasion be something that deals with Port Olisar, where Port Olisar is this big last stand situation where players have to defend it, and then it's sort of being attacked, and then you have either a cinematic or like a little news story, but you just talk about how it's destroyed, and then you have to rebuild Port Olisar. Like the next patch has missions to rebuild Port Olisar. Like you have to fly down to Orison and deliver a bunch of material, or there's like a like some sort of lattice work where you can like fly up to and deliver supplies to and fly away, and then the next patch after that, the new Port Olisar is finished. So the rumors about Port Olisar being destroyed is because CIG has said that they're going to replace it eventually anyways, because Port Olisar itself is old assets. They're really old, like 2.0 old. They're really memory intensive, and they're not designed the way that most stations are designed in Star Citizen right now. So it needs to get replaced with a bigger station. So with the whole like, because the Xenothreat transmission was heard only on Port Olisar, at first at least, people assumed that meant that Port Olisar was going to be destroyed. It was just more of like people knew that it was going to be replaced, and they had this message coming through, and people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be destroyed, man! It's gonna be super cool." How do you get to add a background story for your character in Star Citizen? Where can you find information that drug transporting former Navy pilot? Oh, Superior, that's just me kind of coming up with my own backstory. Now, the reason why I say Navy pilot is because Star Citizen or Squadron 42 is your character. And the rest of that stuff is just me kind of on the fly. I use a lot of lore to back it up. There's no like in fiction box that you can put your stuff in. It's just all on your own. Port Olisar is iconic, yeah, but it's also a buggy mess. The Vandalura myth. Have you ever known anyone killed by a Vandal, much less seen one this patch? I've been killed by pad rammers more than Vandal, who's a real enemy. Later, Tyre. Thanks for hanging out, man. There's too much geometry for the flight model. That's why you always get low frames at Port Olisar. Cost me 3/4 of my UEC eating a fully loaded C8's worth of medicine. I think Port Olisar and Crusader by itself are the only legacy assets left from 2.0. They are, and when Crusader gets replaced in 4.0 with a new Crusader, which will be essentially the same, but it's the new tech, so they can have Orison, it will look very like Port Olisar will be the last icon. I wish that Port Olisar was orbiting around a different planet instead of blowing up. Xenothreat knocked it out of orbit and crashed into the planet. That'd be cool. Then we'd have a derelict to visit. Yeah. Do you think we'd see more than one Crusader ship released with Orison released? Probably at least one. I think... Isn't it the Star Runner is... That's 4-1. So maybe the Hercules? Because they showed off the Hercules work, which seems to be underway. So I could see the Hercules. You can write your background on your own account, I think. They might put that in the game at some point. Well, if you guys are really interested in that, Citizens... where's... Look up. Flint made a great... Yeah, UEE.life. UEE.life. Let me pull this up for you guys so you guys can see. So... So this is UEE.life. You can look up different citizens, different handles, different organizations, different star systems. And it has an about page. Essentially what this is a, think of it as a social media built an in-fiction lore for Star Citizen. And it ties your own account. You can sign it in. You can sign in with your sign it in. You link your RSI account. It'll pull all that up. It has all the articles from CIG. It's essentially like think of it as like a big social media account. It's actually made and maintained by Captain Flint, who's a programmer by his day job, and it's a really cool thing. He showed it off at VerseCon this last year, and it's really awesome. You can see a lot of different things: the Galactipedia, the StarMat, the Spectrum, the Community Hub. It gives you all sorts of things that are coalesced here, as well as allowing you to create your own background, what planet you're from, all that kind of stuff that you can fill out into that bio. It's pretty cool. It's called UEE.life. UEE.life. About Big Bennies and Synth World, yeah. It's a social media account. It's a social media site that has heavy in fiction elements as part of it. There's one R&R station that has rings and stuff. There is, yeah. Also, fun story, all of the stations seem to have their own names now. Evening, Triple U. Yeah, so they'll all have their own little names. At least that's what I saw on Reddit. They may be wrong. Darj, thanks for the retweet. We're at 10 retweets. Oh, everyone's going to get free beer. Everyone gets free beer. Let's draw the winner who won here. Good luck, and the winner is Mr. Malaka. Congratulations. Exclamation point beers at Mr. Malaka 20. Boom. That hipster. Have you read them? Fucking hipster, hippie meat, random name generator. Bullshit. What? Read what, Darsh? Oh, the names. No, I haven't. I just saw that they had names. I have to look at them. It's the only station I'll call home. Well, Magnus will be the home system I'll probably be from. Yeah, it was probably data mined. Yeah, it does seem a little bit random name generator. We'll see if it's true or not. There's no raffle right now, Bob. There's a lot of alien species. If you're asking about how many alien civilizations there are is humanity. the Tavaran, the Jian, the Banu, and the Kurthak. Those are the only 5. Oh, and the Vandul. There's 6. 6 that we know of. Of those 6, only 5 of them are really known directly. There are other non-sentient species like the Orsonians, the Osoians. There's the Hadesians, which is a dead race. There's a couple of other ones as well that exist, which are protected by the Fair Chance Act. There's lots of fauna, but they're not sentient species. Black cats, yeah. Rantas and blind oni crabs. Did they say there was going to be like a subspace-like space that comes from the sandworms? I don't know. Maybe. Space Malenge. By Macrotech. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here at the Astropub. If you guys did like this, please do come back. We do this every Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with more Star Citizen and roleplay. We do some like roleplay stuff on Wednesdays. And we do Zero to Hero on Thursday. And lastly, we'll do, then we've got our Friday night party where we do big giveaways. We play Star Citizen with more people and that kind of stuff on Friday. And then on Saturday, we do Captain's Table and the Spice Must Roll. So we do the Spice Must Roll first, and then we do we do the other stuff. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later. I'm being summoned.